All right, let's go. Number 13. We're going strong still. So this is AMA 13. I think it's only fair now that I kind of do some sort of a intro. Not an intro, just to say what it's about because yeah, it's appropriate. So every podcast or yeah, no guests. It's just me most of the time. I might start getting guests in the future. Anyway, uh, I'm a football coach, so I talk about football in the beginning of every podcast. I have a topic or a question that someone has asked me, so I answer it, or I break down a certain problem and give some advice, uh, something related to football, regardless of what it is, just anything. I've accumulated a lot of knowledge over time, and after that, we just move on to whatever other questions I've got, or basically whatever I want to talk about. Mostly, it's about philosophy, thinking, and just everything. To be honest, everything. Whatever I've been asked, I read a lot of books, so I can kind of talk about a lot of things, and we just go with the flow. If you could put it that way, although I don't like that phrase, going with the flow. So the question that I had in terms of football today that I'm gonna start with is I was asked how to defend against against a quick player. So assuming you're a fullback, left or right back, regardless, and you come up against a fast player. Speed in football presents a big problem for people to deal with. Why? Because speed is like the equivalent of having a knockout power in boxing or whatever. You can be losing. You don't even need to be that great, but if you have that power, it can get you out of trouble. Okay, so it's basically a get out of jail free card. You could think about it this way. So speed. What we need to understand about speed, is this is mostly is genetic. So you're either born quick or you're not. Yeah. What you can do is, let's say, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're born with genetically, your genetic makeup says that you're gonna be a 3 out of 10. If you work really hard, if you have good coaches, if you work on it, if you work on it, you can probably get to a 4 maybe, but you're not gonna be able to get from 3 to like 8. If you're naturally 3, you can only get a bit better, okay? And if you're naturally a 9, you can, as long as you're not overweight and obese, you're still going to be a 9, even if you don't train. If you train, maybe you can get to that top tier, maybe get to a 10, maybe. But yeah, speed is, this is just natural ability. When people talk about talent, yeah, oh, he's a very talented player. I disagree. For me, talent, there is no talent for football. You know, you're not born with a talent to kick a ball. That's nonsense. There is no such genes. I've never seen them. Okay, but if you're quicker, then football is gonna be a bit easier for you. So to get back to the topic, some players are quicker, which allows them to just, without using too much skill or anything special, just to kind of, they knock the ball past you and they just outrun you. It's what it is. It's part of the game. If you have it, good. If not, you have to deal with it. So the question was how to deal with someone that is very quick. Okay, so we've already established where the threat is going to come from. The threat is going to come from the player knocking the ball past you for the majority of the time and just taking you on. That's option one. Option two is maybe there is a through ball and he just gets to it first. Okay, these are the two most likely scenarios when you're up against a quick player. Okay, let's I'll address the second one because it's less individual. Okay, to prevent through balls, especially where quick players are involved in the opposing team, this is something that needs to be sorted out as a collective. Okay, so the defensive line should expect that through ball. Okay, should expect it and should position themselves accordingly. If you have quick players, you don't want to leave too much space behind you. Okay, as a in terms of where you position your where you put your line. Okay, how far up the pitch. You don't want to be too far up if you know that you're getting outpaced. Why? Because you're leaving a massive gap behind you. The bigger the gap, the bigger the chance for the guy that is quicker to outrun you, to get to the ball first. The smaller the gap, the more difficult it gets for that particular player to get there first. So once that's addressed, maybe your line is fine, but someone left a gap, so you weren't compact. So the four defenders, they were kind of, maybe that you had 1, 2, and 3 here, and then the fourth one was over there, or wherever there was a gap, so the defense got split. So you need to address that. Make sure you're not too far apart. Okay, prevent the space. Not prevent the space, but take away the space available for that pass. Okay, you never want to be that guy as a defender that is kind of that kind of got carried away, and all of a sudden, you look towards your center back or you look towards the defender next to you and he's miles away. Okay, you always want to be nice and close. You want to move as a unit. So this is very, very important. Okay, so once the line is addressed, we've already discussed that the line is fine. The distance between you and your other teammates is also fine. Okay, there is no gaps for a pass to be played. That's good. So then we've kind of dealt with that through ball. You need to understand that there is always a possibility for like a genius pass to be played. That perfect pass is always going to be there if there is a player good enough to find it. Yeah, and if the attacker that is making the run, if he's skilled enough, if he's made a really good run, then he's probably going to still get to it. Okay, sometimes you play good defense, but you're just outdone by better offense. So we need to understand that we shouldn't really be too hard on ourselves when things don't go our way sometimes. So you need to understand that sometimes you defend well, you do all the right things, but it still doesn't go your way. But because the offense was just that little bit better. Okay, so now that we have understood that, let's get to the point, which I'm guessing was the core of the question. How do I deal with that player when it's a 1v1, when he's coming up against me? Okay, so we take that the main attribute that this guy has is his speed. So how are you gonna take away his speed? Okay, the obvious thing for you to do is you don't want to let him use it. How are you going to do that? When does he get to use it? He uses it when he's got the ball and he's running at you. Okay, so you want to stop him from even getting to that point. So you don't want him running at you like that. So what you do, as you see that the pass is about to be played to him, you go to him, okay, and you do not allow him to turn and face you. Okay, so as he's receiving the ball, you're already on him, you're already putting in a challenge. Now you need to be careful, you don't want to overcommit. Maybe you foul him, maybe he just beats you to the ball, and with his first touch he just takes you on, boom, and now you're out the game. So you don't want to overcommit. You want to be balanced, okay? You want to make sure that you're on time. As the ball is traveling towards him, you're moving towards him, okay? Just at the moment of the just at the time of him receiving, you're there as well. As he receives, boom, you go to him. You give him a little challenge, maybe a little push, okay? Maybe you challenge for the ball. Nothing too reckless, okay? Nothing over the top. Challenge him, okay? Show him you will be there. Do not let him turn. Don't let him turn. Push him, keep pushing him, push him back, okay? Hopefully that works. If you're consistent with this, you're gonna minimize the threat that he presents. Why? Because he's not gonna be now now his first touch is gonna get tested. Okay, his first touch needs to hold up. It's much more difficult to receive the ball when you have someone on your back kind of pushing you and pressing you. Okay, so now he needs to have a good first touch. Okay, let's say he has a good first touch, he can receive it, maybe he can turn. Okay, now the next phase. What do you do now? Oh shit, he's received the ball, he's facing me now. What do I do? Okay, so hopefully you already kind of have some information about that player. Is he left-footed? Is he right-footed? What are his tendencies? What does he like to do? Does he have a nice shot? Or maybe does he just like running down the line? And so what does he want to do? You need to understand the players that you play against. The better you understand them, the easier the game is gonna get you, because you start understanding what they want to do. Once you know that, you're half a second ahead, because you can anticipate the game better. You can anticipate what happens much better. Okay, so what you want to do with this, guys, you want to make it predictable. You want to make everything predictable. Either you want to push him out towards the touchline, if that's his weak foot, let's say. So push him towards his weak foot if you sense that listen, we need to understand that this is going to be you need to make a decision, okay? It all comes down to decision making, okay? You need to decide at that particular moment of time what you think is the best thing to do. I'm going to give you your options. Your options are: you push him towards the touchline, maybe, okay? That would be good if he's a quick player. Let's say he's a quick left winger and he's right-footed, yeah? Now I push him towards the touchline. Where is the touchline? The touchline is forcing him to go towards his left foot more, okay? And he's right-footed, so that's gonna be difficult for him. That's one thing. But if the player is very quick and you're pushing him towards the touchline, he can just boom, big touch, outpaces you, beats you to the ball, and is on for a cross, basically. So this is, even that, it's good, but don't know if it's ideal. Ideally, you want to push them towards their weaker foot. Ideally, because they can always get away with a cross if they're just like a classical right-footed player on the right side, left-footed player on the left side. Okay. If you cannot push them towards their weaker foot, my other advice is push them towards your teammates. As long as your teammates are kind of switched on and know what they're doing, and they're not asleep, they're not just there like mannequins just standing. Okay, if they're switched on, you want to push that guy, the quick guy, you want to push him into traffic. Yeah, so wherever your teammates are, use them. Push this guy with your body shape. So turn your body the way that you want him to go. Yeah, this is what I've already talked about. Defending principles. I'm almost certain that I've talked about defensive, like body shape, all of this stuff. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in one of the previous episodes, maybe 7, maybe 10. one of those. So if you want to know about body position and all this, just go and watch one of these previous episodes where I touched it, where I touched on that topic. So that's basically it. And you've dealt with him. Don't let him receive the ball. If he receives the ball, push him towards his weaker foot or push him towards traffic. Okay, get help. It's a team sport. It's very difficult for one player to beat you. Okay, if the problem is not him receiving and running at you with the ball, if the problem is him just outrunning you, yeah, getting through balls, that's now a problem for the coach. He needs to tell you, he needs to adjust his the line of defense. Okay, the line should be deeper. There is no point having such a high line if you're playing against quick players. So this is the coach's job now. If the coach doesn't know what he's doing, then it's kind of your job and your teammates, your other defenders, your teammates, for you to kind of understand what's happening and adjust during the game or at halftime. You get the other two or three defenders, however many, depending on the formation, and tell them, hey, listen, this guy's very quick, guys, don't push up that high because you give him too much space. We can't get near him. So you're gonna drop, you're gonna stay a bit deeper, the keeper is gonna push up, and you're gonna minimize the space for him. And that's how you kind of neutralize him. No space for him to run into. Everywhere he goes, you want to have players. And that's how pace becomes much smaller problem. It's always going to be a problem though. It's always going to be an advantage. Being quick is always going to be an advantage regardless. So it's just one of those things that you need to adjust for, and you can compensate for that with skill. Okay? If you look at it, the majority of very quick and pacey players, they have a lot of deficiencies. They're kind of limited as players. Okay, that's why I'm not really a huge fan of Mbappe. Why? Well, because I don't know how good he is if he doesn't have his pace. You know, his whole game is based on pace. He's got okay finishing. But in terms of like dribbling and all this, he's got basically a step over and a body feint. But because he's so quick, it works. It works because he gets reactions because of that pace. If he wasn't that quick, everything changes for him. He would not be where he is now. Guaranteed 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Because even, that's for a lot of people is gonna sound like a silly comparison. Compare him and Olivier Giroud. They're both from the French national team. Like, put their skills on the table and start thinking about who's got the better this, who's got the better that. You could probably make an argument that Giroud's got more. He's got higher. He's more skilled than him as a player. He can just do more things. Potentially, yeah. It's not that the gap is not that big. So yeah, that's it. But at the end of the day, pace is part of the game. So as I said, you need to adjust and you need to work with what you've got. So you need to, for you personally as a player, you need to kind of look in the mirror and say, okay, am I gonna be? What am I kind of? What am I probably gonna be? Am I gonna be quick or am I gonna be strong? What's my body type? Maybe I'm gonna look at my parents, see what they were in their youth. Okay, maybe did they have more stamina or were they very quick or strong? Just kind of look, so you can kind of anticipate what you're gonna grow into. So it's all genetic. It's all genetic. Talent, when people talk about talent, that's the only thing that is actually you can consider talent. It's just genetics. How tall are you? How quick? How fast? How fast, how strong. That's basically it. Height, speed, strength. That's pretty much it. To be fair, that's mostly it. Mostly, it's not all, but mostly. So yeah, it's maybe it's unfair, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's that. Now I'm happy that I've addressed it. Oh, so just to kind of highlight now the importance of these attributes that I just talked about, which are physical, okay? Physical attributes we're talking about. They could be considered talent because they're genetic. So I'm gonna try and put it in a nice way if I can. If not, then unfortunate. So if you think about it, look at men's football and women's football. What's the difference? Why is men's football so much more popular? Because it's better. Da, 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 da. Whoa, wait. So, from what I understand, women, they want equality. Okay, they want equality. Everything is equal. Men are no better. Oh, what do you mean? They're just as good. Women, they're just as good. So what's the difference? Why is women's football so far behind? Why is no one watching it? Why? Because they don't have the power. There is no pace in the game. The pace is much lower. They don't have the strength. Okay, the difference between upper body strength in men and women is massive. Okay, they don't have the upper body strength. They can't kick the ball. Okay, they don't have that much power. They can't kick the ball. So the excitement of the game goes down. The excitement for the game goes down because the things they do are it's much more easy for people to replicate them. I don't know if you know, guys, but women's football, the level of women's football, I'm almost 100% sure that I've seen reports of like women, like adult women's team getting beaten by the under 14s or 15s. So at that age, boys, I mean, so women, adult women, play a game against under 14 slash under 15 boys team, and the boys beat them. So at that age, like a 14-year-old boy is kind of the equivalent in terms of strength and physical ability of a full-grown woman. Now that's not my opinion. That's basically how things are. So that's what it is, and then it's just not. Yeah, you lose a lot of the game, and then you have all these ridiculous like activists or whatever they call themselves. That girl with the pink hair. Women deserve equal pay. For what? We need to understand that the money in football comes from where? From people being interested in it, from people watching it. Okay? At the end of the day, football is a sport, but it's what's the purpose of it? It's entertainment. So people need to be entertained and watch it. Why do people watch it? Okay? Why do people watch men's football? Because this is the highest level of the sport that they can watch. Because of the physicality, because of all those things that I just mentioned. The pace, the strength, what they see. Okay? And then, we deserve it. I do the same job. Well, no, you don't do the same job. You do a similar job, but the level that you do it at is nowhere near. So how do you deserve the same amount of money? It doesn't make sense. They pretend that they don't understand. They pretend. The double standards is the double standard is unreal. The double standard is ridiculous. Oh, we deserve the same. I train just as hard as my husband. Thing one of these girls, she had like a husband that is also a football. I train just as hard, but you're not as good. Okay, so people pay for skill. They want to watch high skill level. You're not as good, so you can't earn the same amount. That's what people get confused. People think, not everyone, I don't want to insult anyone, but some of these activists, women rights, don't even know what to call them. Basically, the people that push for equality, they don't really know what they're talking about, or they just pretend. They kind of close their eyes when they're looking at some things that are not in their favor. So we're working just as hard. We deserve the same amount. We deserve to get paid the same. Even I saw Hector Bellerin. He used to play for Arsenal, right back. I used to like him. He was a good player. He was Spanish. But then he went into fashion a bit too much. He went a bit too over the top. Started coming out with these crazy haircuts and just the mustache and all this. Just went the wrong way. And now I'm seeing things. Women deserve the same amount. We need to be paid equally. Okay, go and pay them then. Take the money out of your pocket, give them to the women, whatever team you play for. Go on, come on, if it's so important to you. It's Mickey Mouse statements. Why would they get paid the same if they're not as good? People do not want to watch them. They do not have the physicality. Okay, this is biology. This is science. This is not my opinion. I'm not giving an opinion at the moment. I'm just stating the obvious reality and what science has not proven, because it's difficult to prove something, but it's as close to a scientific fact as possible. The confusion is there is a misunderstanding. Equality, people want equality. No, people talk about equality, but you don't want equality. You want fairness. You don't want to be equal. You want to be fair. Okay? Fair means everyone gets what they deserve. Equal means everyone gets the same. But do you think what do you think is better? So regardless of what you do and who you are, you're gonna get the same as me. So that's equal. Fair is I get what I work for and what I deserve, and you get what you work for and what you deserve. That's fair. So which one is better? Of course, it's fairness, but everyone is coming up with these slogans: equality for this, equality for that, equality. Even that's messed up. And equality, and some people, they just kind of get carried away and they start thinking, oh, that's not fair. No equality here, no equality there. And they start confusing the two concepts completely. They completely miss the point. Fairness, that's what's important. It's important to be fair. Equality. So you know what? There's another example. Women want the same, and this is not. I'm just giving examples with the pay gap in women and men's football. Hey, imagine if someday I coach a women's team. Oh my god, I'm shooting myself in the foot, although highly unlikely. I don't think I don't know. I don't want to say never, but we'll see. I'm just giving examples here, and I'm talking men and women. I'm not saying that there is so many more things that are wrong just in the world overall that are not fair at all. Okay, I'm just giving examples with men. women. I'm not trying to make any claims or outlandish statements about men are better or whatever. It's just different. It is what it is. So um, we have this equality, equal pay, equal pay in football, where obviously equal pay is not. Uh, it's just not deserved. It's not warranted. Oh, I use complicated words. I like that one. Anyway, it's just not warranted. But then if you look at the modeling industry, fashion, modeling, no one says anything. If you look at the top models like Irina Shayk, right, all the Kardashians, Kendall Jenner, all these guys, they get paid millions, millions and millions and millions. Check out the top 50 or top 100 highest paid models. What do you think they are? Do you think they're men? Have you ever heard of of a man saying, "Oh, when you deserve equal pay"? No, no one has ever said that. Why would they say that? They understand, you know. People want to see all these beautiful women. Irina Shayk, all them. They want to see them. That's why they get paid so much. People don't want to see some guy, even if he's good looking, but he's not Irina Shayk, is he? So he understands that. So he doesn't really say anything. So he's fine. He's fine there, you know. There's no talk about, oh, where's the equal pay? Where's the equal pay in modeling? Or why not? But then in football, oh, equal pay. Just just confused. People have got their priorities confused nowadays. I think it's what it is. What can we do? One thing that you can do is to not complain. Complaining does nothing. And remember, you want to be fair, not equal. You want to treat people fairly, not equally. I don't want to be treated the same as this guy. Well, this guy, he's a piece of shit. Doesn't do nothing. When we go to work, he's trying to hide. He's not working hard, he's not helping anyone else. Why would I want to be treated the same as him? Okay? I want to be treated for what I deserve. If I go there, I work hard, I do this, I do that. I want to be fairly rewarded for it. Not, oh, we're equal, boo, 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 boo. He gets the same as me. Why? What has he done? Nothing. He's just getting in the way. He's not doing anything. Oh, you get a little bit, you get a little bit. This is it's just not right. People just need to think. It's so simple. Moving on. Let's answer some questions now. I've gone on enough of a little bit of a rant there. Apologies. It had to be said though. Okay, let's see what we've got. What do you think is the most important question one can ask themselves? Okay, what's the most important question you can ask yourself? So I think there is, in general, there's two questions that I see to be crucial, and people that don't really ask them kind of get confused or lost over time. They just kind of lose their way, from what I've seen, from personal experience, and from everything that I've read. And what you want to ask yourself as early as possible is, what do I want to do? That's one. A lot of people ask themselves that, but then when they answer, They just kind of give a very surface level answer to that, and they're just happy with it, and they stop there. What you want to ask yourself is, what do I want to do? And then you want to ask yourself, who do I want to be? Or rephrase that. What kind of person do I want to be? What? I think this is the most important question now. So it starts for everyone starts with, what do I want to do? Even children, they think, oh, when I grow up, I want to be this and I want to be that. You want to ask, you want to understand, you have to understand that the importance of the question, what kind of person do I want to be, is much higher than what do I want to do. What do I want to become? What kind of person? What kind of person? Because this is going to be this, if you know the answer to that, is going to give you such strong motivation. Yeah. Once you know the answer to that and you know what you're striving for, you basically, you know who you are. Or if you're not that yet, you know what you're striving to become. The motivation that this is going to give you is much higher and much stronger, and is much more pure than everything else that is external. Okay? Or what do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? All these things, they are external. If the focus is, who do I want to be? What kind of person do I want to be? Then you're focusing on things that are internal, they're within your control. And the motivation is just different. It's different. Because you understand, oh, wait, all these other things, they're not as important. My focus is on my personal, on my focus is on like the achievements that I'm after. They're very, what's the word? Not personal, internal. Okay? The type of person that I want to become. Not, I've asked so many people, what do you want to do? And they go, well, I want to travel. I don't know. I want to be happy. I want to have fun. Some dumb questions. Or maybe they give you like an answer, I want to have a farm and have a dog and something like this. All these answers, they're fine. But it's not, this is just thing that you can go and get. It's not internal. It's not internal. We've talked about happiness. I talked about it, I think, in the last episode. Before that, I've talked about it maybe another 3 episodes at least. The most powerful question is, what kind of person do I want to be? Because then whatever you're going through, let's say you've set a goal. Your goal is to become a football player. Okay? And you put everything into it. Everything into it. When times get tough, it's much easier for you to kind of stop, kind of quit. You don't see you don't see yourself getting there. You feel like you start to get discouraged. I don't see it happening now. I'm getting too old or whatever. And you just get discouraged. It's much more easier to get discouraged or to stop. Why? Because this goal, yeah, I want it, but how much do you want it? I don't know. You don't know. No one knows, to be fair. But then if your goal is, I want to be a disciplined person. Your goal is discipline. You're always in pursuit of being disciplined, of this like magical ethereal thing that you cannot touch, intangible, da, 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 da. Wow, it's out there. It just exists as an idea, as a concept, and I'm pursuing this discipline regardless of what happens to me. Regardless of what happens to me, nothing can take that away from me. Nothing and no one. I can spend my whole life jumping from failure to failure to failure to failure, and it wouldn't matter if I'm still in pursuit of this. If I haven't, it's failure, sometimes it's not up to you. Maybe you're about to be a football player and they break your leg, and your leg is now bent in 8 different ways, and you can barely walk. Well, technically that's a failure. You're not gonna be a football player now. But if your goal was discipline, they can break your leg. They can fire you from your job. Maybe maybe you're working something, you're doing well, but then the company kind of is about to go bankrupt, so they need to cut. They need to cut on stuff. It's not even that you weren't doing your job properly. They just need to. Your position wasn't essential, and they cut it. Now, boom, you're fired from work. Technically, that's a failure, he got fired. Duh, 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 duh. Well, if the focus is discipline, you'll find what to do next. But if your focus was, oh, this job, I just want to do this, I want to, work that job, da, 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 and that was your dream job, let's say, okay? And then you get cut from it. What happens now? You ask the wrong question. You are asking about what I want to do. You weren't asking who I want to be. When you're asking who I want to be, you can endure much more. Your sense of purpose is much stronger. You're much more centered. Because regardless of what happens, whatever happens to me tomorrow, I still know it might suck, I'm not saying that there are definitely things that I wouldn't be happy with if they happen to me. But like ultimately it doesn't really matter because I'm in pursuit of that internal goals, these internal goals that I set myself. That's the strongest motivation that you can have. Nothing can stop you if you've decided this is the type of person that I want to be. Whatever it takes, this is what I want to be. This is the person that I want to become. So I'm headed there. On my way there, see what happens. So this is kind of how I have managed to. This is how I kind of operate at the moment, because I realized all these things, all these goals that I chased, and I'm still chasing. They are important, but ultimately I can try my hardest for the longest time. Maybe it doesn't work out. So if it doesn't work out, and that was my only goal in life, and I've basically, my life is now a failure. Why did I do it? But if you shift it and aim for ideals, principles, then it's very difficult for your life to be a failure. Now, it sounds very easy. Oh, you just do that and you're successful all of a sudden. Well, the difficulties are other people they're not really gonna see it, That's difficult to see. It's difficult to see because it's about your relationship with yourself. Are you lying to yourself? Other people, they're gonna come and hate probably. They're gonna come and say, oh, he's done nothing. Or not even in front of you, maybe behind your back, they're gonna go, look at this guy. He failed at this, he failed at that. He's only saying those things, he's saying the right things, but then he hasn't really, what has he done? What has he achieved? So some people are gonna be like that. A lot of people are like that. So does it suck? Maybe, yeah, in the beginning. you're like, oh, people don't believe in me, but it's part of the game. It's part of the game. But you need to correctly prioritize your attention and your goals. Okay? Goals, when you set them, start inside and then build all the external goals. I'm not saying don't have any external goals. It's still okay to have like a dream job or to have a dream car and all those things. And you wanna do this, you wanna do that, you wanna go here, you wanna go there. But don't forget the main thing. The main thing is inside. All the rest is I view it as an extra, as a bonus. If it can happen, good. Let's say I'm doing this podcast. Do I want it to be like a successful podcast or whatever? Yeah, that would be nice. But if it's not, then that's fine. Yeah, if that's fine. All I'm focused on is I want to come here, say what I want to say, hopefully say good things. Don't make a fool out of myself. Get better gradually. Get better at talking. Because at the moment, what am I doing? I'm talking to the camera. Am I enjoying it? Yeah. I found a way to be consistent, so I just keep doing it. I keep doing it. Every week, I would like to believe that I'm getting better. Getting better. A little bit better. A little bit better. And step by step, I'm just moving forward, little by little. One day, maybe it's successful. If it's not successful, because these are things, maybe I never managed to put just the right word in the title, so the YouTube algorithm doesn't put it where it's supposed to go, that doesn't show it to too many people. Okay, maybe that's the case. Maybe one day I'm lucky and I put the right word, YouTube pushes it to a million people, and all of a sudden people realize, oh, this guy actually says some nice things, yeah, I like him, I'll start listening to him, and all of a sudden, boom. And now, for the majority now, you're kind of, oh yeah, look, he's got a successful podcast, yeah, you should listen to him because he's got a successful podcast. And now the podcast becoming successful is like a justification for a lot of people for what I've done, but it shouldn't be like that. Successful podcast, it could be successful, maybe it's not successful eventually. That's not entirely up to me. This is what I mean. A lot of people, when they judge you, they're gonna judge you on your external achievements, and this is difficult to accept. Okay, when most people, when they look at me now, they're gonna see whatever they see. Let's say if people look at my podcast, they're gonna see, oh, 50 views, 60 views, or whatever, how many views. Doesn't really matter. But it's not millions, it's not thousands of views. So they're going, oh, what has he done? Well, he doesn't know shit. What is he talking? Why would you listen to him? He doesn't know shit. But then it's just one little word, let's say it changes the algorithm, shows it to millions of people. All of a sudden I become successful now. Oh yeah, of course you'll listen to him. Hey, look at this guy, he's done this with his life. He's got a successful podcast. What the hell? This is how people judge. They don't judge on the actual external success, and external validation sways people's opinion of you very, very much. So you need to learn to not let that affect you when you're setting your goals, because this is the biggest obstacle for people when they start to try and making that shift towards my goals are internal. What kind of person I want to be. Because people are always looking for validation. And because of that validation, It comes from where? It comes from external success, brings you external validation, and you take that as yours. But internal success doesn't really bring you the external validation because sometimes it's invisible. So this is why it's very difficult to shift your priorities. And this is why a lot of people don't ask themselves the right question, which was the original question that I'm answering to at the moment. Question, yeah. A lot of questions in the last sentence. But yeah, kind of, I was very detailed in my answer here. Hopefully not too detailed. What's the next? As always, look, I'm just scrolling through the questions. Answer this. I forget to delete them after I answer them. This is why I'm taking so long sometimes looking at the phone. Is insecurity the result of trying to be secure? Okay, this question is kind of linked. Insecurity, let's just break it down. What is insecurity? Okay, insecurity. People would feel insecure about when. Let me slow it down, make sure I give a proper answer. Insecurity. What is an insecurity? Insecurity is something that you don't feel comfortable with in general. That's like a short answer. Let's see what Google says as a definition of insecurity. I reckon I'm quite close. Insecurity. Something about yourself that you're not comfortable with. Insecurity. Meaning. Uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, lack of confidence. Quite close. I was quite close. Yeah. I said uncomfortable, uncertainty or anxiety about oneself. Okay. So, lack of confidence. So I don't really understand. Is it a result of trying to be secure? No, because you don't really try to be secure. You either are secure or you're not. You can't try. There is no trying there. Trying to be secure. What are you trying? What does trying exactly look like? This is what I don't get. I'm trying to be secure. No. How you become secure is by shifting your priorities. You need to shift your priorities. What I just talked about. I'm shifting my priorities. It takes a long time. Shifting my priorities. My priorities are in here. I'm looking to become better. I'm looking to do this. I understand that certain things are not as I wish them to be. This is fine. This is part of the game, you know. This is how things are. This is the reality. You have a hand that you've been dealt. So the cards that you hold, it's not up to you. It's kind of what you've been given. And being insecure about any of that is is it logical? I don't find it as logical. So I've made logic a big part of my life. I want everything I do to be as logical as possible. To be as logical as possible. So when I look back, I can say, I made this decision based on this and this and that. I don't want to go back and say, I kind of felt that way, but and then I never had any direction. If I based my my decisions as much as possible on logic, then I can be fine with them, wherever they lead. At least I know I've made it as simple as possible, and I've done the best that I could have done with the knowledge that I had. Okay, so logic, important to me. Again, priorities. So logic, is it logical to feel bad about something that you don't necessarily control? Let's say you're short. Oh, I feel insecure about my height. Or some women, some girls, they feel insecure about being tall, and they wanna kind of they show it so much. They're trying to, they're just over the top. Oh, I'm so tall, a tall girl problem, blah 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 blah, all this bullshit, you know. Oh, I'm so tall, look at me. Da, 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 da. This is just how insecure they are, and they just try to shove it in your face a bit too much. Okay, this is just another way of showing your insecurity. Some people, they're short. Oh, I'm short. So whatever, mate. You know, I want to have blue eyes. I don't have blue eyes, do I? Unfortunately. Oh my God! Don't look at my eyes. They're brown. Whatever. Who gives a fish? No one cares. No one cares that much. So insecurity is not really logical. You can't be sad about things that are out of your control. Then let's say you're fat. You're just fat. You know, some people, oh, he's fat. For why are you using that word? Why? Listen, fat is fat. We need to be able to call things as they are. Sometimes they're not the nicest. They don't have the nicest ring to them. Oh, fat. Well, but it is what it is. You know, it can hurt your feelings a little bit, but it doesn't come from a bad place. I just call things as they are. If I ever get fat and someone calls me fat, I'm not going to be, oh, you just called me fat. Oh my God. I'll be like, oh, damn, I'm probably fat. I'm probably shaped like a donut. But I have to take it though. If I don't want to take it, you always have an option. Lose some weight. Don't be fat anymore if it bothers you that much. So I don't really see any space, I don't see the space for insecurity, because I've worked so hard though on my own to kind of fix myself to the point where I don't even see where they. But I remember being insecure about stuff. Not even, you know how people have insecurities when they start getting defensive. I never get defensive about anything. Because you can't really get to me. What are you gonna get to me with? You can't insult me. You can't piss me off. Because I know my priorities are fixed. They are properly placed. I've managed them really well. The positioning is sublime. So you can't really get to me. I never really get defensive. There is nothing for me to get defensive about. The things that I don't like, okay, let's say about myself or whatever, if someone really tries to get to me, I know that if it's that important to me, I'll change it. If I'm not changing it, then it's not that important. If it's not that important, then it's not gonna impact me. Okay, it's not gonna affect me. So it's all fine, you know. I've had some people. Fun story now to finish the podcast. There is one guy that has kind of been annoyed by me for a long time. I don't know why. Maybe because like I don't, just the way I am, you know, sometimes you just annoy people. just the way you are. So he would always try to find ways to get to me, to get under my skin, to really try and show me that I'm not as good as I think I am. He just thinks that, some people, when you just have this overall, like me, just the way you carry yourself, you know, you kind of know that you know your worth. I'm not saying that I woke up with my chest like that. Oh, hey, look at the t-shirt though. You can't teach tika, baby, dan hookah. You can't teach tika. What is tika? Tika is heart. But that's the best way, the best word to use for heart. Tika. It ticks. Keeps going. That's heart. It just keeps going. Like a machine. You just keep going. Keep going. Tika. It ticks. That's some New Zealand slang. I love it. I love it though. Anyway. So this guy, it's not that I walk with my chest out, but like I'm not really sure when I can do something. I just say, yeah, that's fine. I can do that, no problem or whatever. I'm not particularly. Oh, I'm so shit at this. Some people that they try to be fake humble or modest, or they try to kind of uh, be too nice to you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't really do that. Then he's a bit annoyed, so he tries to get to me. So he's tried everything. When I have a new haircut or whatever, if I grow my hair, he would say, "Oh, your hair is this or is that." If I cut my hair, he would say, "Oh, you're so ugly." Like anyway, you try the dumbest things, and he would say, "If I grow my beard, oh, by the way, I've cut my beard a little. If I grow my beard too much, you look like a Taliban or whatever." It's dumb. If I cut my beard, then he would say, and now I can see your nose, or you have such a big nose. Even guys, look at my nose now. It's worse than normal. It's not like I have the smallest nose anyway, but now I was hit in the nose, so you can see it's a bit red. Just if anyone was wondering, now you look bonus information. 1 hour and 2 minutes in, my nose is a bit red. It's a bit swollen. I just got a nice punch, inspiring, but it's part of the game, isn't it? It's part of the game. I'm looking a bit rough. But as I said, no amount of external beauty, can equal the internal development that I'm working towards. And if to get to a certain point mentally, if I need to sacrifice a little bit of like looks, of external stuff, maybe my nose look, I don't look my best at the moment, then it is what it is. It's a price I'm willing to pay. But yeah, oh your nose, oh yeah, I don't have like the smallest nose. Like my nose is nowhere near like a top level Victoria's Secrets model or whatever. Just a normal Eastern European nose of a strong man, a Spartan. Do I get affected? No. I just kind of laugh. It's funny to me because he's trying to get to me, and you can just see through it. I said, yep, yeah. And you know what I say? I say, well, that's not good. Your nose and your ears, they keep growing forever. The older you get, the bigger your nose gets, and the bigger your ears are gonna get. It's just how things are. So, yeah. Am I gonna get affected? Why? Why is it? It's just the way it is, I have a better beard than him, so. But I don't say anything. I don't want to be horrible like that. I'm not bold. But I don't say anything. It looks like I'm bitter now. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I shouldn't swear. Sorry. I don't give a flip. It's just, it is what it is. You see, I'm laughing. This is so funny to me. It's so amusing when people are this petty. or they're doing their best to kind of get you, and it just doesn't work. And all I can do is laugh. And when you start laughing, you piss them off even more because you just see through their pathetic attempts. Pathetic. I'm bitter. I'm definitely bitter, and no, I'm not. Come on, I'm just messing about now. Anyway, enough talk. I need to go and do stuff. So I'm done. Thanks for watching or listening, whoever else. And I'll be back next week with 14.